Because with my out of office is I'm currently reading the member packet of a new club that I just joined
What
called
club is that?
the WDNC, which is the We Do Not Care Club.
Oh,
Shout out to Just Being Melanie on IG, who is the founder. So shout out to Cassie McClay at USA Today for this piece, because if she hadn't reported on this, I wouldn't have known. So the Beyoncé fans that showed up on the night of Juneteenth printed out 4,000 Juneteenth flags and handed it out to fans.
mm-hmm.
So that when she started singing Freedom, they would wave the flags. And I saw a clip of the stadium during Freedom, and guess what was waving? Those flags.
So she's doing this thing called Joy 101. So I happened to see a video where she made this recommendation to go to ChatGPT and to make a list of your biggest life goals. And then feed them into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT,
tell me the story of a day in my life as my future self based on this description. Boop. You're going to hit the button, and ChatGPT will tell you a beautifully detailed story.
Your smile is so bright, Nikki T.
Thank you.
We are back. The autoresponder is on. Whoever needs this, and we are here for you.
For you.
For you and for ourselves.
More so for ourselves, yes.
Right. We need this. We need this hour of power. The hour of power.
Oh man, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well.
We really we hope you're doing well, and we're here to give you at least an hour of positive vibrations and good vibes, in case you could be doing better.
Amen.
Can always be better. So
it's okay though.
Let's go.
Let's go, and the autoresponder is on.
So thank you for listening. We love the fact that we've been building this community through this podcast. And if you're a new listener, make sure to subscribe, and you can catch us on YouTube and anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Yes.
And we are so happy to be a part of your day. Nikki T.
What's your out of office reply?
My out of office reply is that I am currently out of office creating the world that I would like to live in, even if it's only in my imagination.
I love it. Love it.
See my big smile?
Yes. With your pink sweatshirt and your fuchsia lips? Is it fuchsia?
It is. It's a pink pop. It's a pink pop of lip here, because the lipstick that I would normally wear, I couldn't find when we were getting ready to I was trying to get ready to film, and I was like, I got to be cute for the girls. And I was like, oh, this is all I have available. So this is what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do. It looks great.
Well, you look beautiful as always.
Thank you.
You pull it together so effortlessly.
It's an effort.
But it looks effortless.
Thank you very much.
It looks like you woke up like this. It looks like you sleep like with your hand under your chin.
Really?
And you just like so delicately close your eyes. And then you sleep, and you look like you sleep smiling. Like, just,
you know what? That's the goal. The goal is to always go to bed like this, sleeping, smiling.
That's how I envision you sleeping. Like,
because
with your eyes just so delicately laid, like your lashes just delicately laid. Touching. It's barely closed.
You're right, especially because with my out of office is I'm currently reading the member packet of a new club that I just joined.
What club is that?
The WDNC, which is the We Do Not Care Club.
Oh!
Shout out to Just Being Melanie on IG, who is the founder of this club. She found it for women who are going through perimenopause and menopause. Just putting the world on notice that we do not care anymore, right?
Look,
So
I feel like that club needs to be joined by women at all ages. When I wrote Black Girls Must Die Exhausted in my 40s, and I was saying this is the epitaph to my 30s, I was like, I really wish that I had stopped caring way before now.
I feel you.
Before in my 20s. Can you imagine if you had stopped caring in your 20s?
Oh, girl,
how
you can tell me nothing.
Would you?
You could tell me nothing.
Listen,
I actually would be a menace.
I feel like I was a little bit of a menace in my 20s, but I really I would have been a menace in the best way for myself and my
What would you have done differently, by the way? Like if you what can you pinpoint a moment where you were like, oh, if I stopped caring here, I would have done this, and this?
In my 20s or my 30s? Because I have plenty of moments.
Okay, so what is the moment in your 20s and what's the moment in your 30s that you wish that you were like?
Oh my God. Everybody just brace yourselves when you listen. The 20s, I don't know. Like there's a million things I would have done. I would have started a recording career. I would have been a musician. I would have done so many other things. I would not change anything, but instead of working in an office in the music industry, I would have gone ahead and started writing music and gone in the studio with all of the musicians and artists that I knew who have gone on to become epic stars.
Name one.
I know Kalina Zanders. She's a dance music artist. She's huge. She does Coachella. She just was on with Paris Hilton. Amazing. We were in an improv comedy class together. I visited her in the studio many times, in the very early stages of her career. I put her together with producers. It was just, I was in such a world of artistry and creatives, and I think I was so invested in, I'm a lawyer, so I'm supposed to do it this way, as opposed to what? And then everybody brace yourselves for this, please. In my 30s, when I worked for Prince and I was in the studio with him, I regret not saying, I write, or, I can, or whatever.
Right.
He asked me many times, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, you hired me to be a lawyer, a business person, and to be on the business side of your business. But he was asking me in a general way. And I think not having the courage to just be honest at all times and not feel like I had to sit and play the role that I felt like I had been assigned. So if I didn't care, girl, I'd just been like, you know what? Like Tiana Taylor was like, hey, I'm Tiana. And this is what I do. And I do this and I do this. I would have been like Tiana Taylor.
What would I have been doing? Well, I mean, you still can. So let's address that.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, I wish I had stopped caring earlier. To a degree.
I think if I stopped caring earlier, I probably would have been an actress.
Yeah,
I think I would have been on TV. I can see that
because you have Well, it's not. Well, you on TV now.
That's true. I'm on TV now. But yeah, I think I would.
You should be.
I would have been an actress, like a comedic actress. I think. Yeah.
It's still. I think that I see this for your future and my collective. We will be doing that. But I think a lot of people, it's no happenstance that you wind up in on the creative side behind the scenes in television, because I think a lot of people wind up in the music industry. When I was working in the music industry, a lot of musicians were sharing office space, but that was because you're told that you're supposed to do these quote unquote responsible things.
Yeah.
And then you wind up on just the opposite side, but yet of what your creative dreams are. And it's almost the farthest distance a lot of times. Even you're so close and yet so far away when you have creative ambitions, and you wind up, getting close to it, especially on the business side of things. But that's not really what you want to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I'm going to be in the background behind the scenes because, I felt insecure and all the other things. Right. Or I can't do that. Person is doing it and they're doing it at the highest level. Why should I think I could do that and all that jazz? But you know what? I don't care. So
right. It's such, we should do it. We could do a whole episode about that because I've had so many conversations with people who, to varying degrees, had a bigger dream for themselves and took the smaller version of it and thought that that was their measure, that this is all I deserve,
right.
but challenged it progressively along the course of their life, and then just started living progressively bigger and getting closer to their dreams. So it's just never too late. And I think being honest and saying, look, I love what I've done. I love my path. I don't think I would necessarily change anything because I've learned so much and I've developed, and part of that journey was developing confidence. Everybody can't just like go out and be big in the world and be also unprepared for that bigness.
Right.
So,
ooh, that's a word.
So
I actually got that word this morning, that like, you can't, it's part of my final word, which I'll get into later, but it's like, there's a reason why things are happening the way they're happening, so that they're going to prepare you for whatever's on the other side of that. Because if you get it too early, it might crush you.
Right. Yeah. So the journey, the other way around, when the journey of caring was also preparing you to be in a space in a very healthy way, where you really have to not care, but you have a foundation of not because I think, the craziest person in the world, not to use the word crazy, but I don't know what else to say, but doesn't care, at all. And is doing risky things that are self-destructive. And there's a version of not caring that is self-destructive. And then there's a version of not caring that is possessed.
Right.
Is you have full possession of yourself, and that's why you don't care. And I think that's a healthier version. And that might not be something you can get to in your 20s.
That's right. Because you need experience.
You do.
Full stop.
So
we'll I have a whole thing in health and healing that touches on that too. So we're on the same wavelength.
Health and healing is going to be, health and healing is going to be a big segment today. So listen, those listening, this is a very powerful episode. We had a lot going on this week that we really sat down and figured out, how are we going to share this with you? And you may need to hear this. So, this is a thoughtful episode and will lead to, I hope, introspection, but also I think some soul food. So stay with us.
We're gonna go deep into it.
We're gonna go deep. So I see you, girl.
Shall I start?
You start.
So my I see you, girl goes out to the Beyoncé fans in Paris, France.
Yes.
Who overstood the assignment when Beyoncé was performing on Juneteenth.
Overstood the assignment.
Overstood.
The French, les Parisiens, ils savent bien.
Okay. So shout out to Cassie McClay at USA Today for this piece, because if she hadn't reported on this, I wouldn't have known. So the Beyoncé fans that showed up on the night of Juneteenth printed out 4,000 Juneteenth flags and handed it out to fans. So that when she started singing Freedom, they would wave the flags. And I saw a clip of the stadium during Freedom, and guess what was waving? Those flags. They were able to talk about the history, appreciate the history, know what Juneteenth was actually about, unlike Kroger's and Synergy Auto in North Carolina.
Oh.
And yeah, I'm throwing some darts. And they actually knew what it was. And it was so beautiful to see these people who are not American. Most of them were white, actually. And just to go, we did this because we know this is important for Beyoncé. It's important to her. It's important to the Black people. That they just said it so eloquently, with confidence, because they knew their shit. And shout out to them. Like,
Well,
that was just beautiful to watch.
That I did see a clip of this, and when you said the Beyonce fans in Paris for Juneteenth, I was just thought it was like, oh, I see you, girl, that you got to go to the concert, because I was having FOMO, FOMO, not JOMO, but FOMO in this case, where I was like, oh my gosh, I think I really wanted to go see Beyonce in Paris. Like, I think I really wanted to do that. And I was seeing everybody in Paris, and I was like, yeah, I think I should have hopped across the pond and done that. So I thought that's what you were saying, but this is even better, and I'm so proud of the peeps in the city, because freedom is freedom is freedom. And if you don't understand that concept, I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to tell you. But I have some homegirls over there who went, I want to say last night or Friday night. I can't remember, but they sent photos and they look like they were having a ball. So this next act, which some people are hinting that it might be rock because she was wearing a Tina Turner shirt.
Oh,
this next act, I think I might have to go see it in Europe, because
we need to go together, and we should live blog it, or
we really
do
should,
a podcast episode from. We're going. Let's put it out there. We're going.
We're absolutely going. But I'm like, girl, the clothes elevated. You had Miley Cyrus.
Oh, to me, that was my favorite song in Cowboy Carter, Two Most Wanted. The best song. That was my favorite song from the whole album. I'm like,
what did we do to you, Beyonce? You didn't bring that here. Why didn't we have that here?
Why? I know.
Why?
I know.
But
I was just like, I was floored. Because I loved that song. I didn't know Miley Cyrus wrote it, but just to kind of, it made me take a little bit of a dive into the background. But to see them in their little matching gold outfits singing this song, it was fabulous.
It was fabulous. Fabulous. But shout out to those Beyonce fans who did the work, because bon boulot, mes amis.
Bien fait.
Bon boulot.
Très bien fait. Well, speaking of music, sticking on this topical thread, my ICU girl this week is Amber Oliver. So I've got to shout out the author, girlies. Amber Oliver, her novel debut, When the Music Hits, it hit stores this week, bookshelves this week. I read an early copy, and it was so good. It came out on Valentine Books, and a few things that I loved about this book. First of all, like I was just saying, in my former life, I worked in the music industry for 8 years. So I was an executive. And I remember before I got into the music industry thinking, how was I going to break in? And longing for that job in the music industry. That was, to me, my dream job. Just like imagining, oh my gosh, like I get to be an entertainment lawyer and a music lawyer. That was such a big deal. And I remember as a student going to BISLA, Black Entertainment and Sports Lawyers Association conference. And I love that happens, because they invite the students to come, and all the Black entertainment lawyers converge in this conference, and you have access to people who are living what feels like is your dream.
Dope.
And so as a student, I would go to BISLA. And so I just remember the idea of how to break into the music industry was such a big question. So this book covers that, not necessarily from a lawyer's perspective, but just getting that first job in the music industry and having that dream of it. And it's done so well and authentically. It brings you into the world and gives you that vibe of like being young and in New York and in your hustle and your grind, trying to get into the music industry. So that's just so great. I love books that teach you something, that are just rich and real, and show you a character that has a real world kind of moral dilemma to see how they solve it. And also, another thing I love about Amber Oliver and When the Music Hits, Amber is also a books editor at Bloomsbury. And as an author, I am so into reading books written by editors. Like Toni Morrison was an editor at Random House, and there are other editors who write their books. The interesting thing about reading a book that's been written by a books editor is that you just get to see their editorial perspective, and them really get to shine as an artist with their own work. So they will have their own editor, but they get to kind of bring, because they've edited so many books, they get to bring, the fullness of what they would like to see on the page into the embodiment of whatever story they create. So I always love to read books by editors. Toni Morrison's books, of course, it's like master's degree course if you're just reading the books in writing and editorial perspective and decision making. And Pineapple Street is another one. The Maid, those did very, very well, but we don't often get to see books by a Black books editor, so that's another thing I love for it. I'm so here for it. And then 3, there's so much music in the book. So much. It's like a love letter to music.
That's
so
awesome.
You'll just get the whole music experience. So congratulations to Amber. I wrote a blurb for the book. I fully supportive, and I'm so excited that people now can finally read what I got to read as an advanced copy. So we see you, girl. Congratulations. When the music hits, it's on shelves.
It's such a feat to get anything published. So whenever when someone posts something, I'm like, oh, you did it.
I know. And to do something novel, where I think like what's special about this is like it's more like contemporary fiction or contemporary literature. It has all of the elements, like the world building, the compelling storyline, the complex Black female protagonist, you really get a perspective in the book. And I think you really get the world building. Like, she constructed the world so realistically, and having been in the music industry, I had high expectations. So I was like, well, I'll know if this is not on point, but it was really authentic to how things kind of play out and how it works. And I thought the moral dilemma was really well done and engaging, and just being interested in seeing how this plays out. So I love to see something new, like a new perspective that gives you almost like another life on top of the life that you're living. Like, you read a book and it's almost like you got the benefit of living another life within this one. So beside the feat from publishing, of course.
What's the name of the book again?
When the Music Hits.
When the Music Hits. All right, cool.
When
That's dope.
Hits.
Congratulations.
No, but it's when the music hits.
So what I was about to say, so what are you on right now?
What am I on right now? Okay. Well, what I'm on right now. Okay, you guys are going to love this. So do you wonder what Hoda was doing when she left television? Do you ever wonder what was like her next chapter? Do you know what it is?
No.
So she's doing this thing called Joy 101. So I think there's a lot of people trying to anchor joy in our current environment and in our current, reality. There are a lot of people trying to anchor joy, I think, or this is a mandate. We are on our mission to anchor joy, anchor radical joy for our listeners and for our community. And I think other people have their own joy mandates. So she's doing a project called Joy 101.
Okay.
And so I happened to see a video where she made this recommendation to go to ChatGPT and to make a list of your biggest life goals, and then feed them into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to write a description, a vivid, detailed description of a day in your life having achieved those goals. And so I was like, ooh, I'm all for this, because I'm not like big on having ChatGPT. Like, I don't think ChatGPT should be being a substitute for your own creativity. Like, I'm not like, oh, okay, write a book using ChatGPT. But I was like, this is interesting to do for personal use. Like, tell me a story starring me, because like, who else is going to write that for you? And you're not going to write that for other people.
Right.
So like, tell me not a memoir, but tell me a story of the future starring me having achieved my goals. And I'm like, that's a great use for ChatGPT. So I was like, let me try that. So I had not logged. I didn't even know what my password was, but I tried this, and let me tell you, it was the most magical experience. It was so fabulous. Yes, I fed my goals into ChatGPT. I wrote my goal. I think I wrote like 9 big goals, and I was like, ChatGPT, tell me a story of my life having fulfilled these goals. And it was like hour by hour, ChatGPT gave me back a detailed, vivid description of my day. And let me tell you, I'm a fashionista. I mean, I have a balcony in Barcelona.
Okay.
My breakfast is like ricotta on toast and something. It's better than what y'all breakfast was. I don't even know. I'm living my best life. I have an architect partner who's emotionally aware and is a philosopher.
And what's his name? Did it give it a name?
It did give it a name.
His name is Sergio.
Yeah, I know, whatever.
Ramon.
He's sitting on the balcony having breakfast with me, talking about philosophy and life. And what else is happening?
Right.
Oh, I am dressed to the nines, honey. Like my wardrobe is tea. It's
wouldn't
everything.
Expect anything else. Okay.
It's everything.
Apparently ChatGPT be knowing.
Oh, ChatGPT. Oh, and then ChatGPT had me flying in from Barcelona to Paris private. Oh, and so I was like, what airport is this you have me flying into? It's like, Le Bouquet. I was like, what? Okay. So this like, and then I'm flying in to meet with my creative teams, honey. Like we have a meeting in, plane side of the hangar with my creative teams.
In the hangar.
Oh yes. And then we go to rehearse, and then I go to rehearsal with my band because we're working an album.
Oh. This is a life.
Oh my God, it's amazing. I'm like, wait.
Okay. Can you let's sorry. Hold on. Now I'm obsessed with this. Dude, so what did you
It's my new obsession.
Like, this is what I'm doing all day. I'm just typing into ChatGPT.
That's all day yesterday. I was.
So what are you inputting? So what were the goals that you put in?
My goals. So I said I want to create an album and have, because I've been doing my singing lessons, and ultimately I'm like, okay, I would love to have a creative project where I have an album that I can perform for audiences, and I want to be have a very particular fashion perspective. I want to be fashionable and have a perspective on fashion that's been aided by a very creative and intelligent stylist. So I just put this. I put like what. I want to have a life that's lived partially outside of the United States, like maybe in Europe or some. So I was just kind of like listing big, high level goals that I'd like to achieve, and kind of thinking of endpoints of the things that I've been working on for myself today. So it was imperfect, but the great thing about it was when I read through what ChatGPT spit out, it helped me refine my thinking around the goals. So I added a couple goals. I made some adjustments and asked it to do it again. So it was very iterative. By the end, listen, honey, my life is so fabulous. It's so,
what you should do? You should have it, if you haven't done it already, have it visualized. Like they should find images based on this life so that you could then print it out board and put it on a vision board. Because I've been vision boarding myself because I haven't done one in so long. The last time I did a vision board, y'all, I got my dream job. I got my dream apartment. I found my husband. Everything on it, like I was traveling, like everything on my vision board, I achieved it. And I just, because I was on my path to whatever I wanted to achieve, I didn't do another vision board because I was just like, well, I'm living it. You forget.
Mm-hmm.
So now I sat down last weekend and was, I'm a Canva girly. So I was playing around in Canva and just like typing in a bunch of things. But now I feel like I need to go to chat.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because I stay in chat. I have enough.
I know you do,
but I have to. I go back. I should go back to chat and do this exercise. This is so awesome.
It is groundbreaking because I think to be able to read it is the first step to being able to kind of refine it and then see it, and you see it and believe it. It's so and even now where it's not where. Obviously, it's not where I am right now, but just being able to read it and visualize it, I'm there. It's happening. I've got clarity on it. And then the other piece of what Hoda was recommended was then after you do this, you ask ChatGPT to give you a plan to execute.
To execute it
from here to there. Yes. How do you start today working on embodying that plan?
Oh, this is delicious.
To live that life. Oh my God, it's amazing. You will be obsessed and you will be doing this all day. So you're welcome, and also I'm sorry because now you will be doing nothing else.
Prepare to be sick of me. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
That's what I hear in my head. At least.
Prepare to be sick of me.
Prepare to be sick of me.
Look, honey, I'm already my future self at this point. So yes. You are hearing from future me. It's amazing. So that's what I'm on right now. It is my entertainment. It is my whole focus.
It is the complete opposite of what my entertainment was this last week.
Is this what you're on right now?
Yours is so joyful, is so future thinking and forward. My black ass was looking at Suit Jitsu. Do you know what Suit Jitsu is?
I don't know what that is.
Girl. This is the 14-year-old Nicole who thought she was going to be a WWE superstar.
Girl.
The 14-year-old Nicole was watching this and was like, this is amazing. So Suit Jitsu, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu inspired by John Wick movies.
What?
So let me paint this picture for you.
I need the picture. I do not understand.
So imagine a padded ring. We have men in black suits and they're grappling.
What?
Okay. And they have 5 minutes to grapple. The first 4 minutes, they have to basically be John Wick, Jason Statham, Liam Neeson. And the last minute, they throw in a weapon. It's fake. So a gun or a knife. Actually, let me rephrase. A pew-pew. A pew-pew. And a stick. Okay.
Oh, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you? Oh, because the algorithm filters out.
Oh, man.
You said a pew-pew. Like,
a
what
pew-pew.
is she talking about?
It had a pew-pew and a stick.
Okay.
There was like a fight card and it was like 10 of them. So, I just sat there and just watched the John Wick Invitational series on YouTube. And I was like,
I can't believe this is a thing.
This is
Suit Jitsu.
Suit Jitsu.
And so the combatants are in black suits, a la John Wick, and they're really fighting each other. But then they have fake weapons that get thrown in. And then what is the purpose?
The purpose is to get the other person. And so if you pew or stick, then you win.
Pew pew. If you get pew pew. This sounds insane.
There's a Grand Prix in August for men and women. So if you are interested.
Can I just say that you are meant to be a performer and I am here for it. I'm so glad we get to sample this and see the evolution and burgeoning of a star on this podcast. Because I know I don't need ChatGPT to tell me what's going to happen here with you, but I'm excited. I hope that I would love to do a comedy show together. I used to do stand up.
I know
which was
you
fun.
did.
I loved it.
I don't know if I could do stand up.
I never thought about having
that's scary.
That's your girl. I know, but when you have but we could do it together. It'd be fun.
You're right.
And we'll have all of our family of listeners to come out to our shows. That's my dream. I would love to do like live shows.
Yes, we should do live shows. And it is
scary, but I mean that's what's fun about it.
You're right. The energy would be fantastic.
Oh my gosh, it'd be so much fun.
The energy would be so good. But listen,
help
it got
us manifest.
With Suit Jitsu though, because it's so ridiculous, but it's actually quite genius because it's wish fulfillment. It got me to thinking, not for me, because I do not want to be John Wick, but I can imagine the men and the women that are in these competitions want to be John Wick. That's why I said 14-year-old Nicole, WWE superstar. That dream is gone.
It's not gone. None of our dreams are gone. Let's just leave them on the list.
I don't want to be a WWE superstar.
Girl, I can see that too. It's great outfits. You can have a good costume. I can see you doing it.
The costumes would be great. But listen, it got me to thinking, what is a version that of whatever they did with the Suit Jitsu that we can turn into a competition for us as Black women? Like, what does that look like?
Suit Jitsu? I mean,
like a version of Suit Jitsu. Like, is it reading people for filth? Like, is that a competition?
I was about to say style your wig, your piece, your unit out of the box. Like when you get, I mean, because this is my summer of the half wig. And I'm like, these things, when they come out the box, you can't just wear that on your head. You have to do some adjustment and styling.
That is actually, yo.
Make that wig wearable, honey.
And then, okay, so then it's like, ooh, so then you have to do, okay, there's a speed round. There's a speed round. There's definitely one that like can judge by how you cut hair. So like, how you, because it's one thing.
Do your own hair. Oh my gosh. Because we all know that if you can do your own hair, especially as a Black woman, you are a different kind of, you built different. You built different.
Your braid down, that's a level.
Do your own braid down.
How do you do your braid down? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Can the girlies do it? Look, listen, there's so many. Oh, the read. That should be a television show.
Right? Like, how do you like read people for filth? I guess that's kind of like wilding out a little bit.
Yeah, but that's the junior version. The grown version is a whole nother one. And because there's different levels depending on your age, because there's like the middle age, there's the junior version, which is like the younger people, how they do it and wilding out. And then there's the 30 something version, which is more direct. And then there's the like subtle but deadly version, which is like 60 plus.
A more mature
where it's that
read.
Almost that silent read where it's like,
just the one word read.
The one word read. And then it's like the eyebrow. You think of like Claire Huxtable.
That's who I was envisioning in my head. Yo, that read that she gave Alvin to this day.
Read.
To this day. But I like this hair one. This hair one sounds fun. That's fun.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
All right, we'll offline this because
okay. Well,
let's continue on with our show.
If we have comment sections in our socials, so people want to.
I know. I would love to hear what y'all thought. What you guys think, envision. Like, what's our version of a Suit Jitsu? But yeah, that's what I was doing this last week. Lost countless of hours just watching Suit Jitsu.
Well, now you'll be losing countless hours on ChatGPT.
I will gladly be losing
having it describe your dream life. Girl, I have a whole new use for this. I'm like, this is now my entertainment.
That is so cool.
So, yes. Well, Minding My Black Business. We had a whole supercharged Minding My Black Business last episode. So if you missed that, check it out. I like when we do extended segments
of Minding My Black Business,
or any of our. Sometimes we do long health and healing. Sometimes we do long Minding My Black Business.
Yes,
I think it's great.
This is probably my favorite segment of our show because I'm discovering these companies by these amazing women, these amazing Black women. The one I want to talk about today is Florae Beauty, and it's founded by this woman named Dr. Natalie King. She's a neuroscientist. She experienced stress-induced hair shedding during COVID, like I'm sure many of us did. And so she used her neuroscience background to create a new product line to combat that. Yes. And it's manufactured in St. Louis. It's vegan, powered by plants. And these products target shedding and thinning. So they have different collections for specific needs. So you have growth, you have hydration, you have strength. So if you go to her website, you can take a test to tell you, it asks for your age, the hair products you use. It's a whole test that can then determine what type of growth, what type of collection that would be suggested for you. So when I did the test, it suggested I should do the growth collection. Okay. It's shampoo and conditioner, but there's a mask, there's a serum, and then there's this other thing called a booster. And then you can have a subscription, so it can come to you automatically. And what I love even more is that a portion of sales will go towards organizations that help women who have hair and scalp conditions like alopecia and lupus. But yeah, shout out to Dr. Natalie King.
I'll be checking that out.
Please do. The number, I think the percentage number that she said, that she promises that will reduce the shedding is like up to 35%, which is huge.
That is. And I really do think that this is the next wave of growth products, because people don't really, a lot of times with the hair influencers in particular, you see them with like really long hair. And what I think people don't always factor in is the role of hormones, because when you go through pregnancy, you have a surge of hormones that do help your hair grow. It's not prenatal vitamins that are doing that. It is hormones. But then when you give birth, you go through a different fluctuation of hormones. And then all of this changes throughout your life. So I'm glad that we have somebody that's kind of focused more on building in more of the science and helping even that out, even for people who want growth, but, may not be having a pregnancy, or people who want to, try to avoid postpartum shedding or stress shedding. So just starting to think about the role that hormones play aside from, vitamins and other kinds of things, and thinking, how can we have hair products that actually work more like tools that help us, achieve goals, as opposed to kind of basic maintenance or hydration, but goals beyond that. So I'm excited to check this out. I'm definitely gonna check it out. And I've been swearing by Peter Lamas. He has a hair growth. It's an anti-aging complex that he has. It's a shampoo, conditioner, and serum that I've been using for years. That has helped me grow my hair in various stages out. But I'm looking, I would really love to see a Black owned business have that same kind of focus. And I'm definitely here for the science of it. So I love that. My Black owned business today is Sable Labs. So
is this Sabrina Elba's company?
Sabrina Elba.
Yes. I don't know much about it
before, so right? Okay.
Please.
I've been meaning to.
I just have seen it. And I will assume that she uses it because she looks amazing.
She looks amazing.
Just tell us about it. I'm so excited to hear about this.
Yeah. So now, aside from sharing her husband with us, our collective husband, Idris Elba, Sabrina's been very generous. Hey, girl. Hey, boo. So thank you for sharing your husband with us, because we really... we are here for that. But also, her skin is amazing. We've had opportunity to see her, and she has a skincare company. So I first discovered this skincare company. I did not know about it until I went to BeautyCon late last year. And I was really first enthralled by the packaging. I mean, it's like this really great, I wish I had brought it down because I've been using the cleanser, but it's like the slate gray kind of packaging, very sleek, very, very just high end looking, very expensive and chic, very sophisticated.
We love
yes,
that.
It looked so. I was just being very superficial on the packaging. I was like, I didn't know what was inside. I was like, this just looks amazing. It looks rich.
I'll have 15. I'll take 15.
Looks rich.
Thank you.
I know it looks rich. It looks like my future me. What my future me would do. That woman that I read about on ChatGPT. This looks like what she would use.
Right.
Okay. So
on the balcony.
On her balcony with her face mask, honey, because she is on the balcony in Barcelona. But this was late last year, and I was so enthralled. So they did this little test of their face mask on my hand, and it literally changed how my hand looked within like 2 or 3 minutes. It was amazing. So I bought that. Yes, and I bought the face wash. And so evidently one of their chief ingredients is something called casio, and it's native to Somalia. And it's been used by local women there for years. I guess it's powdered form of leaf extract, and it contains 2 times the antioxidant level of vitamin C, I guess, in other compounds, and it has anti-inflammatory properties. But what I like about it is it's kind of it does the like glowy thing, and I think the resurfacing, but it also has a lot of emollients in it. So like this cleanser, it's like I wash my face and then it also feels like I've like applied serum and moisturizer all at the same time. So they have like a Casil cleanser and they have a Casil mask. So I've been using the Casil cleanser, and at first I thought it said basil because I need glasses. Like literally I can't see. No, I can see, but I couldn't see. And I thought it said basil, and I was like, basil cleanser. This looks amazing. And then I was like, that does not say basil. That says Casil. Qasil. But so anyway.
I'm
so that
not
was fine.
laughing. I'm not laughing at you.
No, you can laugh at me. I was like, and then when I found out after the fact, because it was better than what I expected from a basil cleanser, and I was like, this is amazing basil. Like, wow, I feel so hydrated. Basil is just basil.
Basil on my
basil
face
does all that,
and I can eat it.
It's better. It's not just for marinara sauce. Like what? So anyway, so I went to the website. That's why I went to the website, and I was like, this is not basil. Silly, this is Casil, and that it's magical. It's not basil. So anyway,
hilarious.
So anyway, but check this out. I'm gonna put the link in the show notes. I have really been enjoying it, and they have a whole kind of product suite. But I think if you think about like what kind of products you'd be looking for if you were looking to try something like this, you'd be looking for resurfacing. You'd be looking for something gentle, more anti-aging to maintain your skin's moisture barrier and your oil barrier to keep that in balance. And you don't want a stripping type of cleanser. This would be kind of where you want to go if you want more gentle, more like natural skewing, but will give you what seems to be really good results. I mean, I've kind of been using the basil / Casil cleanser every day because it just feels so luxurious. I've been having a really good experience with it, and I think my skin's been doing well. So
I was gonna say your skin looks amazing. There's nothing like a really good facial cleanser.
Yeah.
Like that feeling of just like it's getting in your skin and it's getting all that dirt and just washing the day away and all
and
the
then,
BS.
And then you feel silky after.
Yes. You feel luxurious. You want to put on a Finoel robe or an Andrea Yama robe on and just
put that out there.
On your
Go
balcony.
Ahead.
What
Go
is
ahead,
my
fancy.
balcony? What is my balcony? I think you know what? I'm going to do this ChatGPT thing.
Let me know. Yeah, next time.
I'm gonna report back next week because I need.
Who are you, girl?
Yeah,
who are you? Who does ChatGPT say you are? Because that's what I want to know. I'm gonna be somebody else by the next episode because I'm like I've already become her.
Because I'm already chose in both ways by God and by my husband. So I want to.
I'm choosing myself.
I want to know who else I am.
Girl, I've been finding out. I'm on the other side of that. I have been chosen by myself.
Okay.
And I am like, what else is she doing? Evidently,
she's on a balcony with Ramon. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep bringing that up because this balcony is giving.
The architect philosopher. Listen,
okay. Let's go into Jesus Take the Wheel.
Yes. Okay. Well, mine is very simple. Why does Beanie Man look the same as he did when I was in college?
Wait, I haven't seen him. Does he look good?
Too good.
Really?
I'm like, why does Beanie Man look the same? I'm suspicious. Simsima. What's happening? What's going on in that Bima?
Wait, where did you see him recently?
I saw he has a tiny desk. Concert.
They gave Beanie Man a tiny desk?
They did.
Oh, and I'm like, to see this.
It's amazing, but he looks amazing. And I just want to know.
How did he sound?
He sounded great. It was an amazing throwback show, but I'm like, wait.
Who does the booking on that show? Because they be knowing.
They're winning, right?
They have to be millennials. They have to be a millennial.
They have gone into the crates. They have gone into my whole college years and said, we're going to just resurface all this. And I was like, why does he look so good though? So this is not quite a Jesus take the wheel, but it is, because I just feel like,
You're like, what are you doing?
Is Jesus driving the Beamer? Like, what's happening? What is happening? What is he doing that I'm not doing? I need to know.
You are a fool. Is Jesus driving the Beamer?
Like,
well, I guess so.
Happening? That's not like, I don't know. But I'm not going to feel all right until I know. I need to know. What am I not doing? What am I not doing?
I need to know, like Mark Antony. I need to know.
You need to know. I need to know. That's all. That's what I have.
I need to listen to this tiny desk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
And watch him. Is Jesus driving the Beamer? Okay. So here's my Jesus take the wheel. Okay. So a couple months ago, I talked about an Economist article that gave a summary about how AI is getting rid of the digital divide between minorities and white people, that Black and brown people are using AI at a faster rate than white people. And you remember I wanted to interview ChatGPT because I wanted to see, because the whole thing about AI is that it's learning.
Right. As you're using it.
So I'm like, ooh, how Black has ChatGPT gotten? So I asked questions like, what does 5011 times mean? It answered accurately. I also said, can I ask you a question? And it didn't correct me. In fact, it actually told me why AXE also counts.
Also counts.
Historically speaking. And then finally I asked, it's 7 p.m. on Friday, what's the temperature? And it didn't know. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
You need to do some more work, ChatGPT. ChatGPT said it was Black though. The AI, did you see that video where the AI said could come down and be a human, it'd be Black?
Yes. I did see that. But then this is what else I saw. So shout out to Kotb on stage for this. He came across a video. It's a young Black woman. She's sitting in her room. She has like a bowl of chicken, fried chicken. And she said like, so you cut off the friend that didn't come to your birthday dinner, but not the man that forgot it was your birthday. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a word. And then she proceeded to eat the drumstick, bone in, took a bite, the whole drumstick with the bone, and was munching on it. And the girl isn't real.
It was AI?
It was AI. She wasn't real.
What was the point of that?
My thing is, it felt like AI knew I was testing it. And then it said, oh, I see what you're doing. You're trying to test how Black I am. Bet. And then created a bunch of Black AI folks. And that's not the only video I saw. I saw another video of a beautiful young Black girl on the beach with a bunch of people with her friends. And she's doing like, hey, y'all, I'm in Miami. And da-da. She's also not real.
What's happening? I don't understand. I
can appreciate ChatGPT or AI closing the digital divide amongst our people, but at what cost? Because now we have videos floating around of women that look like us. There's probably a version of you online right now that's on that balcony with Ramon philosophizing about life.
See,
that's AI generated.
Now y'all know if that's the case, that's not me. Yet. If you see that video, send it to me because I do want to see it. By the way, it would just help with my visualization efforts.
It was incredible.
This is scary, but I'm just like, first of all, I'm still stuck in the fact that the women. Now listen, I know people that eat chicken bones, and I'm highly suspicious of them. But when I see somebody, but this gone too far. It's gone too far. You cannot. I'm sorry. The AI has it. No. People eat chicken bones, and that's already suspicious, but it's gone too far. That's where you know.
She just put the whole drumstick in her mouth and started munching like and then Kev was like, because the caption said she's not wrong though, and then he's like, but she's not real though. Like, this is a problem, guys.
Yeah, this is crazy. Well, people, I just, you know what? I don't know.
The video was insane.
This is definitely appropriately in the Jesus Take the Wheel segment. So y'all do with this what you will. Okay.
It was crazy, y'all.
Y'all do with this what you will. Are we on health and healing?
Yes.
Great.
You like, I have been
I've been waiting for this.
My whole life for this.
I've been waiting my whole life.
Why don't you jump in? Because I would love to hear what you have to share this week.
Okay. Buckle in. We're going to get very real at this point. This episode's going to go a little bit long, but just be ready for this. And it's something you need to hear. I'm betting that it is. We were supposed to film this episode yesterday. Mm-hmm. We could not film this episode yesterday because I was crying hysterically and could not stop to put my makeup on. And people that are hearing that, they're like, what? Yes, that is what happened. I was crying hysterically, could not stop. And I had to call and like, can we not, I can't stop crying. I could not figure out why I could not stop crying. I could figure it out and I couldn't. It's been a rough week. A lot of things are happening. And it was a moment of just overwhelm. Here's this point where I've hit my max and my best is not good enough to meet this moment. And I know a lot of other people probably feel that way, not just because of personal circumstances, but just the environment that we're in. When you have done your best, you're doing your best, and still there's a gap between your best and the outcome that you want to have. And what I realized in talking about it, because what we basically came to was, you know, you could only do what your best is, and then you kind of have to leave it alone after that and give it to God. But I realized something really important after that, which was that as a Black woman, I think we have been tasked with always doing more than our best. And our best is never accepted as good enough. Mm-hmm. In fact, we are saddled with the responsibility of accomplishing a job that is everyone's job, but somehow just becomes ours. And we're either unduly punished because the job that should be everyone's job is left undone. Our best is never accepted as good enough. We do our best, and that is never accepted as good enough. We are always tasked with, or often tasked with, the whole job when that's not our job. Somebody said, did you get the job done? No, I got my part of the job done. I did my part. The job, what's left to do, should be other people's responsibility, but often it's made our responsibility, and we're made to carry the burden of the whole job when that's not our job. Our job is to do our best, but our best is never accepted as good enough. The irony here and the problem is that you can't do better than your best. You can't do better than your best. There's no more to do. There's nothing more to do than your best. So if you've done your best and the job isn't done, what happens then? Right. As a Black woman, we are given the unwanted gift, which I'll call a burden, of then facing self-loathing, facing punishment, facing derision, facing increased pressure when our best isn't enough to complete a job that should be reserved for other people, that should be community work, that should be other people's responsibility to take it from here. When your best is not accepted as good enough, and you've been conditioned in that way, and you've been taught in that kind of a structure, you can't accept your best from yourself. And then you wind up putting yourself in a position where you've given your best And if it's still not enough, you start self-loathing. You start pushing yourself further. You start internalizing stress and failure, and you wind up getting physical repercussions of something that you don't own, but you've taken ownership of. And I realized that actually yesterday, when for once, when my best wasn't good enough and I broke into tears of hysterical crying, that was an improvement relative to what I would normally do, which is keep pushing myself and and start stressing and internalize the condemnation and the you should do better and the job's not done and you should just stay up all night worrying about it. And you did your best, but that's not enough. So fill the gap with internalized expectations of society that are unfair. So instead, I cried because that was a moment of throwing up my hands in helplessness, in surrender, and saying, I have done all I can do. I have no more to give. And it's not enough. It's not enough. But that doesn't mean that I'm not enough. It means that it's not enough, my best. And that means it's time for someone else to step in.
Right.
Whether that's God, whether that's other people, whether that's community, whether it's fate and circumstance, my job is done because I did my best. And if I'm uncomfortable with the situation being unresolved, tears are appropriate. Crying is appropriate. There's a surrender in that. There's a healing in that. There's a soothing in that. And so I just wanted to share in health and healing that it might be the time to cry. It might be the time to cry.
Amen.
And we're so conditioned not to allow ourselves that. But it might be the time to cry. Now might be the time to cry. And when you have given your best and done your best, and the circumstances do not reflect the outcome that you're going for, you did your part of the job. The job is not done because there's other people who need to do their work. You cannot step in for them if you've already done your best.
Amen.
That's what I had to realize for myself. So that's what I wanted to share in health and healing. That crying, that's been something that's been taken away from us as a people. And I think we need to reclaim that. And I realized that as uncomfortable as I felt yesterday and how it seemed so bad, and we jump, oh no, we need to be comforted, or something's very wrong if someone's crying. Not always. Not always. A lot of times crying can be an improvement over the internalization of what you would have otherwise done.
That's right.
And so that was actually a step forward because I am not doing other people's work anymore. I'm not. I'm only doing my best, and that's going to be enough. And if you see tears streaming down my face, odds are it's because my best may not have been good enough, but it's going to be enough.
Right.
And so I will sit in the space of discomfort and wait. With tears streaming down my face, but I will be waiting at rest because I have done my work. I have given my best, and that wasn't enough. But there
for
are
the
other
circumstances, but it was enough for you.
But it's enough for me.
Right.
And it leaves the space for other people to step up and do their part. It is that time. And it may be that time in your life. So I hope sharing that, it's an imperfect thought. It's something still in progress. I'm sure we'll come back to it and talk about it more as it evolves, but it was so profound, especially this week and all the things that are happening, that I wanted to just share it while it was there, as soon as I had clarity enough to articulate some of it. And that is my health and healing, that now just might be the time to cry.
And it's okay to do that.
And I think okay.
A little bit of that, because I also shared that this week was also rough, mentally for sure, not circumstantially, but mentally for sure. And I think it was really good to see you I don't want to say good, but it was kind of, because we talked about this before. We don't want to be strong. We want to be resilient, right? You're very, very, very resilient. So it was like seeing you yesterday or hearing yesterday was like permission for me to do it too. I don't know what it is, but you're absolutely right. I think we've just been conditioned. We've been conditioned to do a lot of things that are not healthy for us. And yes, one of those things is just saying no, resting, taking a step back, letting getting somebody else to do it.
Because letting somebody else do it.
Letting someone else do it, right? Because there's a difference, getting and then letting. And yeah, we always want to show up and be that girl, be that person, but I think we need to probably redefine what that is. Be that girl, be that person. And part of that is crying when you need to cry. Part of that is realizing, like, I did my best. Now I'm just going to let the rest take care of itself. Part of my health and healing this week, and this is for anyone who's ever stayed too long in a job or in a relationship because you're waiting for a better ending. Like there was a quote that my friend sent me, also named Nikki. It's from this IG account called The Career Therapist. And it said, sometimes we won't let ourselves leave unless we can leave on a high. We want the good ending, the appreciation, the proof that someone understood what we were trying to do, that we mattered. So we stay even when it hurts, trying to fix the unfixable, just to feel like we didn't lose. But leaving doesn't have to be a win. It just has to be true. Right? I think so many of us are conditioned to chase the closure that looks like validation. Right? Like a boss finally saying great work, or an ex, that it finally gets it. But I mean, very much touching on my out of office reply with WDNC, like, I don't care about ending anything on a high note.
Right.
Right? Like I don't need closure. I'm the closure.
Right.
I'm choosing myself.
Right.
Right. Sometimes the only ending you get is the one you give yourself. You don't have to wait to feel like for it to feel like a win. So it just has to feel real and true. So you being like, I have done my best. This is enough.
It's all I have.
This is all I have. I'm not going to keep trying to end on a high note, to get a different result. This is it. This is all I got. I'm doing the best with what I got. Mariah Carey. That's it.
Right.
That's it. I think we need to purposefully choose that every single time. Otherwise, we will break. We will break.
We will. And the circumstances that we're facing around us in a broader context is such that we will break if we keep trying to pick up the baton and run the part of the race that's not ours. If you think about the hurdlers, and not the hurdlers, but the relays and the Olympic runners, we just had the Olympics, you think about if the person running their segment refused to let the baton go,
right,
and just ran the next segment and surpassed the person that was supposed to pick up the baton.
That's such a great visual.
Because they wanted to finish the race. You're going to lose every time. And they're going to pass out because they gave all. When you're running those relays, your segment, you run the hardest you can. That's your job, to run. If you're a starter, you're a starter. If you're the finisher, you're the finisher. But the starter's not the finisher, and the middle person's not the finisher or the starter. You run the hardest you can in that segment. You can't run harder after your segment. You give it all you've got, and you pass the baton. And when the baton leaves your hand, you don't own anything else. You ran your part. That was it. You're done. And if the team loses, you cry because you wanted to win. But
you did your best. You did your best. You're
best.
Absolutely right.
And I'm realizing as a black woman, we don't get that, and we need that. We need to understand we are on a relay race. We are not running that whole race. This is a 4x4 or whatever, 4x100 or 1,000. We cannot do the work of 1,000 people.
Right.
999 other people need to step up. And my one person work is done. I'm done that. I did it. And now 999 other people need to run that race. And if we lose, I will cry.
Then look, yeah, but you did your best.
But I did what I had to. I can't do that part for other people.
And this is why we are the 92%. This is exactly it. We showed up. We did the work. We did our best. And then you're telling us we need to, y'all.
Well, people tell us, a Black woman raised her hand and said, send me. And people didn't. She signed up for, I don't know, bless her for her service and volunteering, because but she did. She raised her hand. She said, send me. And they didn't. So at this point, those that made the decision not to, this is our whole, our society is a relay race. And when we show up and do our best, you cannot ask Black women to run your segment or to run the segment for other people.
We all got to do our part, y'all.
We all have to step up. But if you have done your part and you have done your best, if you know that you have done your best, and there's nothing more to give after that. There's nothing more to give after that. So every expectation after you have given your best is self-loathing, is stress, is high cortisol levels, is high blood pressure, stress eating, is everything that's negative that helps to erode our health, our healing, our happiness, and our joy. So that's what we have to reframe and rethink this. And I realized for myself, I started yesterday. I started that journey yesterday. And that was a step forward in just letting myself cry.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that I couldn't be comforted. It was something that just needed to happen. It just needed to be released. And there's nothing wrong. I realized was an improvement to what I would have otherwise done, which is internalize.
Because you would have kept going. I'm similar. I would have kept going and not would have taken a moment and a beat to take into whatever, take in whatever was going on and reacting accordingly. So yeah, this is great. And it's not a coincidence that all of the things that happened last week happened to us, because I'm sure everyone else is feeling this way because of recent events, because now we're like, and again, we had someone and y'all were like, no. And now here we are.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, the work that we need to do just might be healing. It might be just working on healing ourselves. We are not the warriors. We don't have to be that. And our journey as strong, capable, intelligent contributors does not have to be self-sacrificial.
Nope.
And so this might be our healing time where we can get healing in. And if we have to decide to prioritize and focus, it is just as important to focus on healing yourself, especially when you're wounded or you need to do some healing. Every time is the right time for that. And you have to make that the time.
And that will allow us to show up however we need to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Because with yesterday's news.
Right.
Anyways. Okay.
This healing time. Listen, you can only do your best. You cannot do more than your best. You cannot do more than your best. It's impossible. There's nothing more to give past that other than carving off pieces of yourself after that.
Yeah.
So
you're absolutely right. Well, let's get into what's good, and then we'll close
what's good in Delulu land.
our episode. Well, keep it on theme with AI. You got to give the good and the bad, right?
Okay.
So I gave you the Jesus Take the Wheel version, which is the version we don't want. But there's a good one. There's a video.
Another good one.
There's a good one. This is a good one. There's a video where a teacher uses AI to show her students the professions they dream of becoming. And so these kids are seeing a future version of themselves. They're probably like 10 or 11 years old. And with each picture, you see what they want to become. And it's the look of joy and excitement on their faces. The students in the classroom are clapping and yelling and cheering them on. You had like a soccer player, you had a soldier, you had a biologist, you had a painter, and AI, just being AI, aging these kids up. I mean, they look
exactly like themselves, but as who they want to be.
Yes. And
this is on theme.
So
there's like a
awesome.
continuous theme here. Like, this is how we could be using AI effectively in a way to help us improve ourselves, to evolve ourselves. I love that.
I was cheesing watching this video. I was like,
I need to see that myself.
I want to know what that AI they use so I can just visualize. That's why I was like, you have to ask ChatGPT to visualize the future version of you, because I'm sure they can come up with some photos or image of you. But this was just so beautiful to see. So that's what's good this week. The shout out to the teacher who did that for her students, or for his students. I don't know if it's a her or he, but for the students. And I
love that.
They
might do that for myself.
Excited. Yeah.
I would I would like to see myself as an astronaut. I'm gonna go back. When I was a kid, I used to want to be so many things.
Yes.
I definitely wanted to be an astronaut, for sure. I was convinced I was gonna do that. And then I wanted to be, of course, a singer. I wanted to be a pediatric neurosurgeon.
Wow, that's very specific.
I know, but I was inspired by Alexa Kennedy. So I don't know if you know, like, Michigan, especially southeastern Michigan, is a very medically focused hub. I mean, we have University of Michigan Medical Center, and like, it's just it's a world of it's a medical kind of hub. And so I think I had a lot of heroes for me in that space. And so when I was a kid, I wanted to be a pediatric neurosurgeon.
I love that.
And I would say that, but it was a laundry list of other things that I said I wanted to be. So I might go back and reclaim those thoughts and just
play around with it. Yeah, that's fun. I love that.
I love this tailored entertainment that AI provides. So what's good for me, and is the War and Treaty. I've heard of them, of course. I've seen them perform, but I really did not. Yes. So it's Tanya Trotter and Michael Trotter. So she was formerly Tanya Blunt from Sister Act, and she sang Through the Rain. Through the rain and storm together.
Oh yeah.
So she and her husband are now this country folk music duo. Amazing. And I hadn't really followed their story until I heard them on NPR. I just happened to hear an interview, and it's amazing. First of all, Michael Trotter is so talented. And I think Tanya, I guess they met, she saw him perform and was just enamored, but they have different stories of how they met. But they are so wonderful to watch perform together. So I'm going to drop them in the show links. If you haven't heard of them, we're putting you on. I have been a little bit obsessed just watching their chemistry when they perform together. And then they just have just beautiful stories behind their music. He's a former serviceman, and I believe he was in the Army. I believe it was in the Army. And he has been dealing with PTSD, and he's very vocal and very transparent about his challenges. And he had at one point had a self-harm, it was a potential suicide risk situation. And Tanya kind of intervened and asked him for 5 more minutes. And that turned into a song. He wrote a song, and it's called 5 More Minutes. It's like 5 more minutes to love you. She asked him for 5 more minutes to love you. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. They're just so, and it was just beautiful. I'm like, there's always someone who wants you here. And I think, if anybody needs to hear that, or if resources, if you're questioning or in trouble or anything, I'm going to drop that in the show notes too, just a resource link for anyone who might need it or need to share it with someone else. But just know someone always wants you here. And and 5 More Minutes is a beautiful song. So I came across that in NPR. So they're my what's good for the week.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'll have to check them out. I've only seen them perform once or twice at award shows. I'm like, who is that? I'm like, oh, the Warren Treaty. Okay, cool. I never went back to check them out. But I'm interested in checking out this NPR interview. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Well, we have had a supercharged, very powerful. We promised it was going to be powerful and deep. I think the times that we're in call for powerful and deep. Sometimes we go a little bit longer, but we're always searching for radical joy. And sometimes that's the other side of having to do introspection and challenges and really look at things that might be difficult in the moment. But we're here for each other and we're here for you.
Yes. Well, what's your final word this week?
My final word is let your best be enough. That's for me. And I'm working on this right now. So this is what I'm really working on, is just having this epiphany that, oh my gosh, I can't do better than my best. I cannot do better than my best. I did my best. I can't do better than that. And on the other side of that, if there's any expectation that I have of myself to do better than my best, I've entered a realm that is self-defeating. So you cannot do better than your best. That's my mantra. You cannot do better than your best.
I love it. Mine is there is always something happening in the wait.
Ooh, say that one again.
There is always something happening in the wait.
In the wait, in the wait. And that's, you do your best and you wait. You do your best and you wait. Yeah. And there's always something happening in the wait. I love that.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.